Have you ever looked in the mirror and noticed the subtle signs of aging, wondering what they truly mean for your life journey? Being something that quietly creeps up on all of us, often without us even realizing it. And one day we see the familiar reflection we've known our entire lives, and the next we notice the lines that trace our stories and the silver strands that hint at the wisdom we've gained. In this video, we'll delve into the beauty and strength that come with embracing the aging process. You'll discover how aging isn't a decline, but a progression into a richer, more fulfilling phase of life. From overcoming the challenges our bodies face to celebrating the dignity, respect, and self-assurance we gain, we'll explore it all. Stay with us until the end to learn practical tips on how to age gracefully, maintain meaningful connections, and continue growing both personally and emotionally. Whether you're navigating your journey or supporting someone you love, this conversation will offer valuable insights and inspiration for embracing every stage of life with grace and purpose. If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me. And if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. In our younger years, it often felt like time moved at a leisurely, almost carefree pace, as if life itself was waiting for us to catch up. Remember those seemingly endless summers when the sun hung high in the sky, and the days stretched out in front of us like an infinite horizon? Back then, a single afternoon could feel like a week, and the passing of a year seemed monumental, especially when you were eagerly counting down to your next birthday. It felt like each day brought with it a world of possibilities, where everything ahead, graduation, getting married, having kids, even the idea of growing old seemed so far away, like distant dreams shimmering on the horizon. Those were the days when time was something we hardly thought about. We were too busy living in the moment, too busy exploring the world around us. Each new experience was a small adventure, and the future was this vast expanse waiting to be discovered. When we were young, we were invincible, or at least we thought we were. The idea of aging, of wrinkles, gray hair, or aching joints was something we could hardly fathom. Life seemed so long, with so much yet to be done. But as the years quietly pass by, something subtle yet profound begins to happen. It's as if the hands of the clock start to move faster, as though life itself begins to pick up speed. Those long, leisurely summers give way to hurried seasons. And before we know it, the once far-off milestones, marriage, career changes, retirement, and even grandchildren start appearing more quickly than we ever expected. It can be startling, even jarring, to suddenly realize that the future is now the present, that the days we once thought we had so much of are slipping through our fingers. There's often a moment somewhere in our 40s or 50s when this reality hits us. It might be when we notice a few more gray hairs in the mirror, or when we realize our children are no longer children, but grown adults, beginning their own lives. Suddenly, we understand that the train of life has been gathering speed all along, and by the time we reach our 60s or 70s, it's clear that it's moving faster than ever. We see the passage of time in our faces, in the faces of our loved ones, and the world around us. And it can feel at times like we're racing against a clock we can't control. Time waits for no one, and there's no way to rewind the moments that have passed us by. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. This realization that life is fleeting can stir up a myriad of emotions. For many, it brings with it a sense of longing, a wistful nostalgia for the days when we had more time ahead of us than behind us. We may look back on those days of youth with a mixture of fondness and regret, wishing we could relive certain moments and hold on to them just a little longer. There's often a temptation to cling to the past, to try to recapture the feeling of being young, vibrant, and full of boundless energy. But here's the hard truth. No matter how much we might want to, we can't stop time. We can't slow down the train, and we can't turn back the clock. However, we do have a choice. We may not be able to control the speed of time, but we can decide how we want to travel through this part of the journey. This is where the power of perspective comes in. Do we spend our days lamenting the years that have gone by, focusing on what we've lost? Or do we choose to embrace the present, with all its imperfections and changes, and savor each moment for the gift that it is. There's something deeply liberating about letting go of the past and choosing to live fully in the now. This brings me to the idea of maturity, a concept that becomes increasingly important as we grow older. There's a profound difference between simply aging physically and truly maturing in a deeper, emotional, and spiritual sense. Aging is a fact of life. It happens to all of us. Our hair turns gray, our skin changes, and our bodies slow down. And these physical changes are inevitable, and no amount of resistance can stop them. But maturing, that is a choice. It's a mindset, a way of approaching life that allows us to embrace these changes with grace and wisdom. True maturity is about much more than just getting older. It's about how we handle the passage of time, how we adapt to the changes in our lives and our bodies, and how we choose to view ourselves in this new chapter of life. So while physical aging is beyond our control, maturing is something we actively participate in. It's about choosing to grow, to evolve, to deepen our understanding of ourselves and the world around us. It's about recognizing that while our bodies may be changing, our hearts and minds are still capable of growth, learning, and loving. There's a quiet dignity in accepting the changes that come with age. It's not about giving up or resigning ourselves to getting older. It's about finding strength in who we are now. Aging gracefully means understanding that while we may no longer look the way we did in our youth, we are still vibrant, still capable of joy, and still able to make meaningful contributions to the world. It's about nurturing the parts of ourselves that truly matter: our kindness, our curiosity, our empathy, and allowing those qualities to flourish, even as our physical appearance changes. I want to share with you a story that perfectly illustrates this idea. I once knew a man in his 80s, a retired school teacher. He wasn't the type to seek out attention or make a big show of his accomplishments, yet whenever he spoke, people listened. He had a kind of quiet authority, a presence that commanded respect without him ever needing to demand it. He didn't try to pretend he was younger than he was. He didn't shy away from the fact that his body wasn't as strong or agile as it once had been. But what made him remarkable wasn't his physical condition, it was his attitude, his outlook on life. He embraced his age with a calm, unshakable dignity. He spoke with a wisdom that came not from knowing all the answers, but from having lived a full life and understanding what truly mattered. He didn't boast about his accomplishments, nor did he dwell on the things he could no longer do. Instead, he shared his insights humbly, with a sense of gratitude for the experiences he had gained over the years. People were drawn to him, not because he was flashy or impressive, but because he embodied a kind of wisdom that only comes from living a life of substance. What I learned from him, and what I hope to share with you, is that aging gracefully isn't about holding on to youth or fighting against the inevitable changes that come with time. It's about accepting who we are and where we are, and continuing to nurture the things that truly matter: our relationships, our sense of purpose, and our ability to find joy in the little things. It's about recognizing that while our bodies may change, our spirits can remain strong, curious, and full of life. As we move forward in this journey, we have a choice. We can choose to see aging as something to fear, something to resist at all costs, and we can choose to see it as an opportunity, a chance to grow in ways we never imagined, to deepen our connections with others, and to live more fully in the present. The train may be speeding up, but how we ride it is entirely up to us. There is so much beauty in this stage of life if we're willing to open our hearts to it. The passing of time doesn't have to be something we dread. It can be something we embrace, knowing that each day, each moment is a gift. It's not about clinging to the past or fearing the future. It's about living with intention, with gratitude, and with a deep appreciation for the people we've become. So, let's savor this ride. Let's embrace the journey. And let's continue to grow, not just older, but wiser, kinder, and more compassionate along the way. Aging in a society that constantly glorifies youth can be an incredibly challenging experience. It feels as though every billboard, every commercial, and even the entertainment we consume reinforces this idea that youth is where beauty, capability, and relevance lie. But as we grow older, we know firsthand how untrue those stereotypes about aging are. Think about how often we're painted as out of touch, stubborn, or set in our ways, as if reaching a certain age suddenly makes us incapable of understanding new ideas or engaging with the world around us. It's frustrating, isn't it? We see it everywhere, the assumption that with age comes irrelevance, but let me tell you, it couldn't be further from the truth. In reality, those of us who've lived through several decades have witnessed more change than many young people can even begin to fathom. We've lived through the rise of technology, from the first computers to the smartphones that are now essentially extensions of our hands. We've adapted to shifts in culture, politics, and societal values sometimes more than once. But we've learned to adjust to a world that's always in motion, always evolving. We've kept up with these changes because we know that staying stagnant isn't an option if we want to continue growing. And while we've accumulated wisdom along the way, we're also still learning. Each day is a chance to expand our knowledge and understand the world in new and exciting ways. But here's the real challenge we face. Not only do we have to push back against the negative stereotypes society places on older people, but we also have to make sure we don't unconsciously reinforce those stereotypes ourselves. It's all too easy, without even realizing it, to slip into behaviors or mindsets that support these misconceptions. We might start to believe the lie that age somehow diminishes our worth. Or worse, we might inadvertently act in ways that confirm the biases others have about growing older. One key behavior to be mindful of is dominating conversations. We have decades of experiences and stories that are worth sharing, and it can be so tempting to take control of a conversation because we've been there, we've seen it, and we've learned from it. But as much as we have to offer, it's equally important to remember that conversation is a dialogue, not a monologue. Listening can be just as powerful as speaking, if not more. When we truly listen, especially to younger people, we not only open ourselves up to new ideas, but we also show that we value their perspectives. That kind of mutual respect is essential. It fosters stronger, more meaningful connections that can transcend generational differences and keep us engaged with the present. Another behavior to watch for is excessive boasting. Now, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with being proud of our accomplishments. And we've earned the right to celebrate the things we've achieved throughout our lives. But there's a fine line between sharing a meaningful story and constantly reminding others of our past triumphs. Humility is such a beautiful trait, especially as we grow older. It allows us to connect with others on a deeper level, because when we're not trying to prove ourselves, we're making space for genuine, heartfelt relationships. And those are the relationships that truly enrich our lives. Then there's the habit of making quick judgments. As we age, it's natural to feel like we've seen it all, that we've lived through enough to know how things will turn out. But the truth is, life has a funny way of surprising us, no matter how old we are. We haven't seen everything, and we don't have all the answers. Keeping an open mind, staying curious, and resisting the urge to jump to conclusions allows us to continue growing, even in our later years. It also keeps us connected to the people around us, fostering empathy and understanding rather than reinforcing the idea that we're set in our ways. And perhaps one of the most important things we need to be mindful of is not neglecting our appearance. Now, I know it's easy to fall into the mindset that once we reach a certain age, how we look doesn't matter as much anymore, and for it becomes a priority, and it's tempting to think that looking after our appearance is a superficial concern. But here's the thing. How we present ourselves to the world deeply affects how we feel about ourselves. It's not about trying to look younger or pretending we're in a different phase of life than we are. It's about taking pride in who we are at every stage of life. A little self-care can do wonders for our confidence and self-esteem. It's not vanity, it's about honoring ourselves and showing the world that we still have vitality, dignity, and a zest for life. This isn't just about how others see us, it's about how we see ourselves. When we take care of our appearance, we remind ourselves that we are still important, worthy of respect, and still vibrant participants in the world. We carry ourselves differently. When we feel good about how we look, there's a quiet confidence, a sense of self-assuredness that shines through. And that, my friends, is powerful. So as we navigate the journey of aging, let's do it with intention. Let's challenge the stereotypes that society places on us, but let's also challenge ourselves. Let's stay open to learning, to listening, and to growing. Let's carry our experiences with humility and grace, sharing them when appropriate, but never feeling the need to constantly remind the world of what we've accomplished. Let's remain curious, open-minded, and adaptable because the world is changing, and we are still very much a part of that change. And let's take care of ourselves inside and out because we deserve to feel good about who we are, no matter our age. Aging is not about fading into the background. It's about stepping forward and fully embracing this stage of life with dignity, strength, and pride. And by doing so, we not only defy the stereotypes, but we also show the world and ourselves what it truly means to live fully at any age. Finally, there's the delicate issue of demanding respect based solely on age. This is a tricky area because, of course, respect is something we all deserve simply by being human. So we all want to be seen, heard, and valued. And as we age, we often feel we've earned that respect through the years of experiences and wisdom we've accumulated. But here's the truth. Respect isn't something that can be demanded. It's not something owed to us simply because we reached a certain number of birthdays. True respect is earned, and it's earned through the way we carry ourselves through our kindness, our humility, and the character we display. Age may bring us wisdom, but it's how we choose to share and apply that wisdom in our interactions that garners genuine respect from others. So how do we turn these ideas into action? How do we move beyond just talking about avoiding certain behaviors and putting them into practice in our everyday lives? The first step, as with many things, is self-awareness. It's about cultivating the habit of reflecting on our actions, our habits, and the mindset we bring to our relationships and conversations. Self-awareness is like a mirror. It allows us to see ourselves more clearly, not just the external changes that come with aging, but the internal ones too. For instance, let's say you find yourself in a conversation and notice that you're talking a lot, maybe even dominating the discussion. This can happen without us realizing it, especially when we feel like we have valuable advice to offer. But instead of immediately sharing your experiences or offering advice, take a step back. Try asking more questions. Show genuine interest in what the other person has to say, especially if they're younger. You might be surprised by how much you can learn from simply listening. After all, conversation is a two-way street, and often the most meaningful exchanges come from the moments when we listen more than we speak. Similarly, if you catch yourself feeling the urge to boast, whether it's about your accomplishments, your experiences, or even your struggles, take a moment to pause. Ask yourself why. What's the motivation behind sharing that story? Is it because you're trying to prove something, perhaps to yourself or others? Or is there a deeper, more meaningful way to connect with the person you're talking to? When we let go of the need to impress, we open the door to more authentic, genuine connections. And isn't that what we're all seeking, especially as we grow older? Self-reflection isn't always easy, but it's one of the most powerful tools we have as we navigate the journey of aging. It allows us to recognize the habits, behaviors, and mindsets that no longer serve us, and to replace them with actions that bring more joy, connection, and peace into our lives. So by taking the time to reflect on how we engage with others, we can continue to grow and evolve, even in our later years. Aging gracefully isn't just about physical changes, it's about inner growth, too. Another way to stay engaged and connected as we age is by maintaining a sense of curiosity. Never stop learning. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that we've seen it all, or that we know enough. But the truth is, there's always more to discover. Whether it's through reading new books, picking up a hobby you've never tried before, or simply having conversations with people of different ages, backgrounds, and perspectives, staying curious keeps us young at heart. It reminds us that the world is still full of possibilities, no matter how many years we've lived. And that sense of curiosity is contagious. It draws others to us, keeps our minds sharp, and helps us remain engaged with the world around us. If you're still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment below to let me know that you are still here with me. And let's not forget the importance of movement. Our bodies may not be as agile as they once were, and certain physical activities might not be as easy as they used to be. But that doesn't mean we should neglect our physical well-being. Staying active, whether through simple activities like walking, yoga, swimming, or even just stretching, helps us maintain not only our physical health, but also our mental and emotional well-being. Movement is a way of staying connected to life. It reminds us that we're still capable of growth, that we can still find joy in moving our bodies, and that we're not confined by the number of candles on our birthday cake. Even gentle, Consistent movement can lift our spirits, clear our minds, and give us a renewed sense of vitality. It's about so much more than just staying physically fit. It's about honoring our bodies, staying engaged with the present moment, and continuing to nurture our sense of purpose and joy. Movement is a form of self-care, and when we take care of our bodies, we're also taking care of our spirits. Ultimately, it all comes down to how we choose to embrace the fullness of life, even as the years go by. Aging isn't a passive experience, it's an active journey, one that's full of opportunities for growth, joy, and connection. It's about recognizing that even in our later years, we still have so much to offer the world. We have wisdom, insight, and compassion that only come with experience, but we also can continue learning and evolving. I encourage you to take a moment to reflect on your own experience of aging. What have you noticed about yourself as the years have passed? What changes, both physical and emotional, have you observed? And perhaps most importantly, how do you want to move forward in the years to come? What kind of person do you want to continue becoming? There is no one right way to age, but there are countless ways to do it with grace, dignity, and a sense of purpose. The key is to stay aware, to remain curious, and to continue nurturing the qualities within ourselves that bring joy, meaning, and connection to our lives. The journey of aging isn't just about reaching a destination, it's about how we choose to travel along the way. So let's travel with intention, with an open heart, and with the understanding that we still have so much to learn, so much to give, and so much to enjoy. As we come to the end of this reflection on aging with grace, wisdom, and purpose, I hope you found something meaningful to take away. Aging is a journey filled with growth, learning, and the opportunity to embrace life at every stage. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What have you learned from this discussion? Is there one specific idea or practice that resonated with you? Something you feel inspired to bring into your own life? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's continue this conversation and learn from each other. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. But your support means so much, and we're excited to continue this journey of growth and wisdom with you.